Have you ever felt like you're constantly searching for love but never truly finding it? Like no matter how much you give, it's never enough to make someone stay. What if I told you that this endless chase isn't about love at all, but about something much deeper, something hidden within you? Carl Jung believed that when we desperately seek love, it's often because we're running from our own emptiness. And today, I'm going to reveal 3 powerful Jungian insights that explain why your search for love feels like a never-ending cycle. First, we'll uncover the hidden wounds from childhood that shape your relationships without you realizing it. Then, we'll dive into the shadow self, the part of you that secretly sabotages love again and again. And finally, I'll show you the one shift in perspective that can completely change the way you experience love. But first, let me ask you this: have you ever been in love with the idea of someone more than the reality of who they actually were? If so, what I'm about to share might change the way you see love forever. Your childhood defines your love. Carl Jung believed that our first experiences of love, especially in childhood, shape the way we seek it for the rest of our lives. Think about it. The way your parents or caregivers treated you taught you what to expect from love, whether you realize it or not. If you were nurtured, valued, and emotionally supported, you likely developed a sense of inner security. You believe love is safe. But if love was inconsistent, if you had to fight for attention, if you felt abandoned, or if you were told you had to earn love by being perfect, you may have developed a belief that love is something you must chase. Jung saw this as the foundation of the anima and animus, the unconscious images of love we carry within us. The anima represents the inner feminine energy within a man, and the animus represents the inner masculine energy within a woman. These images are formed through early relationships, particularly with our opposite-sex parent. If your anima or animus is wounded, you will unknowingly seek out partners who reflect those same early experiences, even if they are unhealthy. Have you ever noticed how people tend to date the same type over and over again, even when it brings them pain? This is because the unconscious is trying to heal old wounds through repetition. You aren't just looking for love, you're looking for familiarity. You're drawn to relationships that mirror your earliest experiences, because deep down, a part of you hopes that if you can finally get it right this time, you will heal the pain of the past. But Jung warned that this is an illusion. Love cannot heal a wound that only self-awareness can fix. And that brings us to the next insight: the shadow self. Jung's concept of the shadow self is one of the most powerful explanations for why we chase the wrong people. The shadow is the part of you that you reject, deny, or suppress. It contains all the aspects of your personality that you were taught were unacceptable when you were growing up. Maybe you were told that being vulnerable makes you weak, so now you push people away the moment they get too close. Maybe you were taught that you must always be strong and independent, so you subconsciously attract partners who make you feel small or powerless. Here's the strange part: Jung believed that we are drawn to people who embody our suppressed shadow traits. That's why you might be irresistibly attracted to someone who is the opposite of you, someone who embodies the very qualities you've denied within yourself. If you've always been the caretaker in relationships, you may find yourself chasing emotionally unavailable partners who never take care of you in return. If you've always been the strong one, you may be drawn to people who are chaotic, unpredictable, or even destructive, because they represent the emotional expression you've locked away inside yourself. This is why the people we chase often feel so intoxicating at first. They awaken a part of us that we have buried. But over time, the same traits that drew us to them often become the source of our greatest pain. The very thing that makes someone exciting in the beginning can later make them feel unbearable. The person you once adored for their mystery might later make you feel abandoned. The person you admired for their independence might later make you feel unwanted. And this cycle will repeat itself until you confront your own shadow. Love begins where the chase ends. Many people believe that love is something to be pursued, that it must be fought for, earned, or proven through endless effort. But according to Carl Jung, this very pursuit is often a sign of an internal void, an emptiness that no external relationship can truly fill. The irony is that the harder you chase love, the more elusive it becomes. Why? Because love isn't a prize to be won, nor is it something that another person can give you in a way that makes you feel permanently whole. Instead, true love emerges naturally when you no longer need it as a means of self-validation. It begins where the chase ends, where desperation is replaced by inner peace, and where self-worth is no longer dependent on another's presence. Breaking free from the cycle of pursuit. If love is something we are meant to attract rather than chase, the first step is understanding why we chase in the first place. The need to chase often stems from unconscious patterns shaped by early experiences. Many people seek out love because they feel a deep sense of incompleteness. This could be rooted in childhood wounds, past rejections, or an internalized belief that they are unworthy of love unless they prove themselves. The problem is that when we look to another person to fill that void, we give them the power to dictate our sense of self-worth. This is why relationships based on desperation often lead to disappointment, anxiety, and heartbreak. Carl Jung's concept of individuation teaches that the only way to break this cycle is by turning inward. Individuation is the process of becoming whole within yourself, of integrating all the fragmented parts of your psyche so that you no longer seek completion outside of yourself. This is not a one-time realization but a lifelong journey of self-awareness, healing, and personal growth. Healing the root of the chase. One of the biggest reasons people chase love is because they are seeking something they never received in childhood. If you grew up feeling abandoned, unseen, or emotionally neglected, your subconscious mind might push you to seek relationships that will fix that wound. You might be drawn to emotionally unavailable partners, hoping that if you can make them love you, it will prove that you are worthy. But the truth is, no amount of external love can heal what must be healed from within. Jung believed that our early experiences shape our anima and animus, which are unconscious images of love that influence our romantic choices. If these images are wounded, meaning they are based on fear, insecurity, or unresolved trauma, we will continue to attract relationships that reinforce those same wounds. This is why the same painful patterns repeat themselves until we become conscious of them. The moment we recognize that we are chasing love to fill a deeper void is the moment we can begin to heal. Healing does not mean rejecting love, but rather, changing the way we approach it. It means learning to give yourself the love you have been searching for. This might involve self-reflection, therapy, shadow work, or simply developing a relationship with yourself that is based on self-acceptance rather than self-judgment. It means shifting from a mindset of, "I need someone to complete me," to, "I am already whole, and I welcome love as a reflection of that wholeness." Why letting go attracts true love? The paradox of love is that the less you need it, the more freely it flows into your life. When you stop chasing, you allow relationships to form naturally, without the weight of unspoken expectations, fears, or insecurities. People who are whole within themselves radiate a sense of confidence and emotional security that is deeply attractive. They do not seek relationships to escape loneliness but rather to share the love they already feel within. Letting go does not mean shutting yourself off from love or avoiding relationships altogether. It means releasing the desperate need for love to validate you. It means trusting that the right relationships will come into your life at the right time, not because you chased them, but because they aligned with your level of self-awareness and inner peace. Instead of asking, "Why won't they love me?" start asking, "Do I love myself enough to stop accepting less than I deserve?" Instead of wondering, "How can I make them stay?" ask, "Am I staying true to myself?" The moment you shift from external validation to internal fulfillment, the energy you bring into relationships changes. You are no longer coming from a place of neediness, but from a place of genuine connection. Creating a love that lasts. Jung believed that meaningful relationships are not about possession or dependence, but about mutual growth and self-realization. A healthy relationship is not built on the idea that two halves must complete each other, but rather that two whole individuals come together to enhance each other's lives. When you stop chasing love and instead focus on your own growth, you create space for a love that is real, stable, and fulfilling. This does not mean relationships will be perfect or without challenges, but it does mean that your sense of self-worth will not rise and fall with another person's actions. It means you will be able to love freely, without fear, without desperation, and without losing yourself in the process. When you reach this point, love is no longer something you need to chase. It simply becomes a natural extension of who you are. In the end, love begins where the chase ends. It begins in the quiet moments when you realize you are enough. It begins when you choose to love yourself so deeply that you no longer fear being alone. And most importantly, it begins when you stop looking for someone to save you, because you have already saved yourself. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Have you ever found yourself chasing love only to end up feeling emptier than before? And if you want to dive deeper into Jungian psychology, make sure to subscribe, because in the next video, we'll be uncovering the hidden reason why some people are drawn to toxic relationships again and again. Until then, remember, real love is not about the chase. It's about the wholeness you bring to it.